And we're live.
We're live.
All right, back at it again with another Feud Chat. And we're bringing it back to the Mid-Atlantic this week. We got a special guest on here, Dave Pavone of Pavone Brothers BBQ. But before we get into that, and there's still – okay, there's one person watching. All right, hold on. I got to go to the comments real quick. He's the first person going to comment on here tonight. Let's wait for it.
No comments yet. Let's see.
Let's see. We got 3 people. Any comments? Come on now. Who's going to be the first person? Let's wait here and see.
There it is.
Oh, Kyle and
yeah.
Uncle Dave at the same time.
Man.
Daggone. Ron Davis. Cheesy pizza. Ron, I'm sorry, but all the Davis and Daves that I got going on in my life right now is pretty insane. That being said, and Mr. John Lindsay liked he messaged me back about Chris's prize box.
Oh, okay.
So,
I got going on in my life right now is pretty insane. That being said,
dude, I thought that volume was down. My bad.
Yeah, you're fine.
What's up, Tyler?
Tyler's on here eating a pickle. Eat a pickle, Jake. I don't know what that means. Hey, John.
Hey,
Last
John.
week's guest. All right. So, hold on while more options, share. While I share this stuff off, Dave, what do we got going on here with some announcements? This weekend.
Good. Barbecue Beast. We will be Waynesboro. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday. We're excited. We'll be there between 1 and 4. Going live. Check us out. Jake and I are going to get some good food.
Dude, we're going to have a lot of good food. I can't help it.
I'm looking excited to that. And then November 7th, we will be at the Smoke Showing Steak Cook-Off. We're all going to bust out that John Lindsay class.
Oh, yeah.
We've been practicing hard, studying up.
I know Big Raz has got it, or Raz has got his going. He messaged me this week, said he got it. Who else you said? Andy Kane's going to be there.
He's watching. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are getting this class. Man. It's going to be competitive now.
It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary.
So we're super stoked for that. We also like to send our prayers out to John Lindsay's mom. She's going through some things.
Yeah.
And congrats on your 5th place in that tough field.
250.1.
Yes.
I think that's what I scored with my 2nd place up here. So I can only imagine with it being down there. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Are we gonna say that we're doing a get together, you and I, doing some little practice cooking, a little steak practice cooking?
Yeah, stay tuned. What is it? 31st, Halloween, Saturday, whatever day that is.
Maybe go live a little bit.
Jake's coming down to my crib. We're gonna do our little steak practice, get ready for November 7th. So stay tuned for that. We'll be shooting live, playing around in my house.
Going live, shooting a special video for some other opportunities and things.
Yes.
So that being said, let's we got 25 people on here. So let's go ahead and bring on our guest tonight. I'm going to get really confused because I got you, Dave. I got this Dave. I got Dave Goss. And I got Ron Davis in the comments. It's going to be a long daggone night. Let's bring him on in here.
Hey,
What's going on, Dave?
How you doing?
We're good. We're good, brother. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
All right. So we start this whole thing off. You've been requested, a couple different people have requested to have you on and talk about your barbecue career. And I know you said you didn't do any this year, but you've done a little bit with Operation BBQ Relief, and we can definitely talk about that. Josh Farley says hello, by the way. And but we'll talk about that. But you're one of the very top people in the Mid-Atlantic. So let's start off with how we do everyone. How did you get into this crazy barbecue world?
Well, this crazy barbecue world started in my mother's yard, cooking a pig with my brothers. And my oldest brother said, man, there's this competition down in Louisa, Virginia next weekend, and we should go check it out because we could cook that. Of course, when you're outside the competition world and you look in, those guys don't know what they're doing. So we went down to Louisa, and we walked around, and we talked to none other than Dan Hickson, actually. While he was cleaning up, I helped him clean up, asked him a bunch of questions. He laid me some information out, and so we walked away from there all loaded. Then we found out there was another class at Louisa, but it was just a grilling class with John Atkins, Pigs on the Run.
Mm-hmm.
So we got in there and we started asking competition questions. So I got a competition class for $25.
Can't be that.
No. So the next year we came out with planning to do 2. So we did the first one, but the second one was up in Shenandoah, and we hit a rib call. But it wasn't just that I got a rib call. So I got a rib call, and then if you remember in 2010, everything Dan Hickson touched was a GC.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a rib call like 5th place, and then Dan got a rib call at 4th place. So I was like, I was in the money. It was like I was hooked then, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's how it actually got started. It was my brother and I cooking in the yard, and then just going out and researching it. It looked like a good time, and it has been.
It looks like it, and you had a really good connection from the beginning. I've learned a lot from watching Dan and from people that have cooked with Dan, and he's a good person to learn from. That's for sure.
Wealth of knowledge.
Yes, indeed. I've learned a lot from a lot of them, though. Even talking with Johnny Trigg, he's full of information. Ralph from There's just a lot of people that have come across. Even one you don't see in the circuit very often is Eric Fraze.
Okay.
Eric Fraze. He's Barbecue and Beyond. He's got so much cooking information in his head. Most of us wouldn't be able to hold it all. It's just unbelievable.
Nice.
Sweet deal. So you your first competition, you had a 4th place rib walk.
My second.
11th place rib walk.
It was my second year, or my second competition. My first year, we only did 2 that year, and the second one was a rib call. So that's kind of what did it. So,
and since then, you've been on a pretty heavy good streak.
We tend to hear our names called. We don't win a lot, but we hear our names called at just about every comp now. There's some games you got to learn to play, and I try to pass those on to others just as they were passed on to me. And barbecue is just a big family.
It is
lots of extensions to it, but a big family.
So what are you cooking on? I know we've gone through here and looked at your pictures. You've had a lot of different setups. You've had I can definitely tell that you learned from Dan Hickson because of the 2 backwoods. But you got a Jambo now. What all are you cooking on? What all have you had? I mean, looks like you had a couple different setups here.
Yeah. So I started with ugly drum and a char grill.
Wow.
And then I went to after that I went to 2 backwoods, and I kept backwoods all along, but I believe that you have to learn to cook on fire. And so that being said, cooking on fire, I mean, I want to be able to cook on any smoker there is. So even now at my house, I have a WSM, I have another backwoods, I have an old Vision cookware or old Vision smoker with the doors that open up sideways.
Oh wow. So
at one point, I think we counted 31 smokers on my property.
Thought I had a problem.
Well, I got a lot away now, so. But I have 2 Jambos. Jambo is the weapon of choice, and I cook my ribs on a backwoods. I do not do them on a Jambo. I have not mastered it, and got the old pictures out.
Yeah, we're throwing them back.
Yeah. So I still do my ribs on the backwoods party. I can cook them on the Jambo now. It's just like in my competition, I want to do what works every time. And, I just stay with it, and it's just easier for me that way.
So what do you like about the backwoods more? What is going on there? What do you like more about the backwoods with ribs than on the Jambo?
Well, the backwoods, first off, that cooker's a moisture cooker than the Jambo. I mean, I put water in my Jambo, but you can't get that moisture out of the, that backwoods has, that closed cabinet.
Mhm.
So that helps a lot with ribs, and with the Jambo, you pop bones. And even when you talk to Tuffy and those guys that are, acing the Jambo, they'll say, yeah, well, you're going to pop some bones, but don't send those in. And it's like, I don't want to pop any of them, right? I want them all right.
Right.
so I can pick and choose. And they don't look at it that way. They look at, I need 6. So get the 6 out of the middle, which is what you normally put in the box anyway.
Right.
But what happens if, that one in the middle doesn't work, and you'd still need a 6th one, and it's the bones popped.
Yep.
So I can tell you what you do. You dip the bone in sauce, you dry it off, you stick the meat on it so it sticks to it, and you send it on to the judges. I've never done that, of course.
Do you know of any results on how it turned out?
I don't remember, but anytime you do something like that, it always turns out good.
Yeah, somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And so you had a porch trailer back before and you had your backwoods mounted on. How come you don't have your Jambo mounted on a trailer now?
Well, so I had the porch trailer, and I kept that with the backwoods until I got a GC in Shenandoah. When I got that GC, it was like, okay, so I got this down pat.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the backwoods already. So the story behind that is that year I came home from a comp with all the meat, and I put it in the refrigerator. And the next morning I got up and cooked another comp on the Jambo, and then I compared the two.
Uh-huh.
Now you have to give a little bit because it's been sitting in the refrigerator, right? And barbecue's always better the second day. But until I got them to be close, then I didn't want to bring the Jambo out. So once I brought the Jambo out, that J3 Jambo is not going to fit on the that trailer. There's no way. So I towed it, and I towed it behind an RV.
Mm-hmm.
And then the RV wasn't big enough, so then I had to tow it behind a bigger RV.
That sounds like a good problem to have. Need a bigger RV.
No, not really, but it works. It's just a lot of space.
And you got there's a video, Team Meat Coma, shout out to Team Man Coma and Amy. They've been on the show before. You got a video of your current setup here, and Dave and I were talking about that. You have the whole, it's almost like a toy hauler almost, where the back of it, let me see if I can find it. The back of it is where you do all your cooking or your meat prep.
That's correct. So the back of it is a toy hauler.
Okay.
That ramp comes down. You wouldn't recognize it now. There's no barbecue stuff in it for this year. And we took everything out so that we could do some camping. And that we've done. So, but we'll probably throw the tables back in. We might have a little different setup when we come back out. Still the same RV. That RV's not going anywhere, trust me. That's my retirement package there. But yeah, so when we come back out, we'll have tables. We want to start doing things more outside. The problem with the RV and the problem with all the RVs when you're prepping inside, yes, you're out of the weather. It's great to have that option if the weather's bad. But I really enjoy people. And I don't get to talk to the people. The people don't come by and talk to you while you're inside that RV. Sometimes you get some people who stick their head in. Other times you don't. They all talk to Mike sitting at the firebox.
Right.
So we're going to move everything outside for whatever we do next year. And there's, if they get COVID under control.
That's the complete opposite I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get everything inside as much as possible.
Well, I want it so that I can just grab the tables and we can throw them inside if we need to. But if it's nice weather out, I want to be outside. I want, that's just me, I guess. I prefer being amongst the people. My favorite comp is like DC, where you have thousands of people. I just wish it wasn't quite as expensive as it is, but it's a great comp.
I hear you.
It's definitely on the list to do.
I'm about to team up for that one, Jake.
Dude,
Put the call.
BBQ chat's going to do a lot in a couple of coming years.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Y'all will enjoy that.
Absolutely. So you didn't do much this year because of COVID, but you have been doing some barbecue. Why don't you tell everyone what you've been up to?
Sure. So, when you do barbecue and you do 14, 16 a year, and then all of a sudden you can't go out and do barbecue, like March came around, you have to find something to do. Well, I was already area coordinator for OBR, Operation Barbecue Relief, and I had never been on site. So when that first derecho went through Iowa, I had an opportunity to go, and I took it. And I went down there, and I got to tell you guys, you can cook all the comps you want. There is nothing better than cooking thousands of meals and knowing that it went to some child or some adult. What goes through my mind is that there's a family that the father's been the breadwinner his entire life. Nothing's ever stopped him from putting food on the table. And this thing comes around and picks up everything they own and throws it. It's gone.
Absolutely.
He has nothing.
Yep.
So those boxes of food are like better than a savings account to these people, and you'll get teary-eyed doing it. You feel it in your heart, your soul. It's really quite an experience, and I really tell you that. I put ads out all the time on Facebook. Sign up, go do this. I can't tell you how you're going to feel. I'm pretty sure how you're going to feel because we're all barbecue family and we all cook with our heart. And the other thing is I'm not cooking 6 pieces. I'm cooking 10, 20,000 dinners at a time, and of course there's a lot of, when I say there's a lot of us there. Yeah. So, so I just came back from Lake Charles. We call it Lake Charles 2.0 because it's the second time out there. And they had, I think, 10 large old hickories out there.
Wow.
So this time we didn't run all 10. The last time I was there, when the 5 hit, the Cat 5 hit, we did run all of them at one time. So it's really quite amazing. So that's my phone. That won't cut off.
Should we stand up? Salute.
Hey, should you stand up? Yes. That's the one song that'll get everyone's attention.
I feel like I should stand or something right then and there.
I don't hear my phone ring, so that way I'll hear my phone ring. So, but just the amount of food and to know that you're fixing that for people that really, really need it. Not slighting the judges at all. I'm sure they need barbecue too, but
no, that's great though. You do that.
Yeah.
I followed it for years. It's awesome.
Yeah, you got to get out and try it, man. You got to get out.
I've thought about it many times.
Sign up for 4 or 5 days. They'll take good care of you while you're out there. They have a new program called a chef's wagon or chef's kitchen, and these guys that's all they do is cook for everyone that's there, for all the volunteers.
Oh wow!
And you can grab anyone out of there. All these guys are cooks, man. They're not just fly by the seat of your pants. They know how to cook.
So, Dave, you're the first person we've had on that I know, right, Dave? Dave Travis that have been a part of OBR. I'm pretty sure, or at least no one's ever really talked about it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what it is. For those of you that don't know, it's a company that goes out and serves barbecue to people that have affected by disasters. But Dave, I've always wanted. All right, this is going to be terrible. I've always wondered, Dave Pavone, how does it really work? How do you sign up? You can sign up to be a part of this, but then you don't know really when a tornado is going to happen. You can kind of have an idea when like a hurricane's going to happen. How do you schedule to be a part of this? And for someone that has a normal daily, 9 to 5 job.
Right. So. That's a good question because I've struggled with that for the first 2 years. First off, you got to get on their line. You got to get on their website, the obr.org website, and you got to fill in for the security, the background check. There's 2 different papers you have to fill out online. You need to go do that right up front. When there is a problem, when we do have a disaster, which God knows we hope we don't have any, but we know we're going to. then they'll advertise it. They'll put out that they're going to respond to this disaster. When they do that, they're on their app, on their volunteer app, there's a list of days, and you can pick whatever days you can go. So they normally ask for 3 or more days because they're going to fly you out there. They're going to put you up. You know, think about that. That's they're investing in you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much the way it works. Now, as far as how you get away, the derecho was right before a long holiday weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I have every other Friday off, so I was able to pull Thursday off as vacation and take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and come back on Monday night or Tuesday morning, whichever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I did it because there was enough days. Then after that, I just burned my vacation time. I'm not going anywhere. It's COVID year. Where are you going to go? I mean, normally we go away for Thanksgiving or something, you know, during the holidays, and we burn a week there. But I get, you know, a little bit of time that I can burn some for other people's good, you know, well-being. So that's what I do.
So once you pick, you want to go, they send it out, and you pick the days you want to go.
Right.
They fly you out there. I mean,
I'm an area coordinator, so they fly me out. I do not know if they fly everyone else. I know they fly all of the volunteers from OBR.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them asking you to leave the Mid-Atlantic and fly yourself out, but a lot of people drive down.
Okay.
But a lot of people fly in also. So, and I'm sorry, I do not know the answer.
No, that's fine. I mean, so do they put you up in hotels, or I mean, is the expense on you to get there, and you're just volunteering your time, or I mean, in some way, shape, or matter? I mean, they're
OBR will do everything in their power to get you there and to take care of you while you're there. Okay, they're not asking you to help them, and then they're going to treat you bad. This year, this is how OBR is. This year they've added 2 bunkhouses, which are trailers with bunks in them, you know, and they're separate rooms. And they did that because of COVID. They couldn't take 16 people and shove them in a hotel and say, yeah, you're going to be safe. Share a room with him. No, you know, I don't know him. I don't know where he's been.
Exactly.
If you start playing that game, then I'm back into the competition world where no, I don't want to play that. You know, they have very, very, very strict rules of COVID. They follow them a lot. I've had my temperature taken more in the last couple of weeks than I've had my entire life, I think, because it's like every hour somebody's putting a thing to my head, you know.
Did you get to swab it all?
Sorry?
Did you get to swab it all?
No.
Not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not something I'm going to get again, but it's not hateful. I've done it twice. It's not that hateful.
No, so far I've been able to dodge that bullet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think Dave or Travis Shazam. I think the best thing that we ought to do is maybe have Stan Hayes on sometime, or try to reach out to Stan and see about him coming on and talking about OBR sometime too. I think it'd be a pretty cool idea to do.
You could do Stan, Dwayne, Mike Richter, any of those guys, or all 3 of them together. They'll enlighten you in a hurry.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I mean, it's good to be enlightened. I mean, it's something that's real. I mean, with all the disasters that we do have going on, you know, it's awesome.
It is, and to think that, you know, Stan Hayes started this exactly what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was he had there was a tornado in Joplin, Missouri, and
2011.
Yeah, and he was sitting at home. I mean, the story I heard from him was he's sitting at home, you know, the next morning, and his wife says, he said, I'm not going to work. She says, go ahead and do it. I know what you're going to do. And so he called a couple of his buddies, and they pulled meat out of their freezers. They grabbed their smokers, and out they went to there, and they started cooking for people.
Awesome.
That is how OBR started, out of their freezers. Now they are a huge nonprofit organization, and donations are very important to them. They have a lot of equipment, but everything is coming from corporations, you know, different places are thing. But you know, you got to have the little people too. So
absolutely,
volunteers are really, really hard right now because of COVID. We're not getting the volunteers from the local areas, so we have to rely on the people who sign up for OBR. So, and once you get into OBR, I mean, they do classes, and you know, how do you do this and how do you do that, and And as you know, if you're a worker, they're going to move you and teach you how they want their pits run, and these are our recipes we're doing, and this is how you run the tilt skillet, and this is the actual recipes they're using.
Yeah, that's the best thing about the sport that we're a part of, because it's not like we can feed people. You can't feed people a football or a basketball. Like you can do all kinds of cool things, but like we can take what we are passionate about and love, and you literally change lives with it.
Yes, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. That's something I thought about too. I mean, you could be a race car driver or something like that, but being a pit master, you can feed, you can take care of people, you can, it's people need fed.
That's right. That's right. So this year is a big rival for me for against like 2018, which is my best comp year out, right? And this is really a rival for that for me, because it means so much to me to cook for OBR, and it meant so much to me to go out to California to cook King of the Smokers and the Jack, and that was all in 1 year. I mean, everything was happening in 1 year, and and of course the biggest thing in 18 was the KCBS Sportsman of the Year trophy. That meant a whole lot to me, and the OBR cook is about the same as that to me. I mean, it really is, if it's not over that. So it just means a lot to me. So, but if you all that know me know I like to give. So it's just
over that.
Yeah. So exactly that. That's what started the classes. I mean, I helped Dan Hickson in his classes for years, and other people, and I really like that. But what I saw missing was a class for the beginners, for the guys that are coming into backyard, so the guys that want to go from backyard to pro. So that's what I wanted to cover in my classes, was that kind of thing. And I don't know whether you know or not, people refer to my classes as free classes. They're not free. You don't get into my class unless you make a donation to a children's charity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what it takes to get in my class, period.
That's really cool. All about giving back. Yeah, it's there's another shout out to Amy and Team Coma. Another video of theirs, the free Pavone brothers.
Speaking of free, yeah. So, and you'll see some major cooks come to these classes, and they enjoy doing them, and they enjoy talking to the people. And even Amy was on top of the game with chicken, and somebody said, "Hey, Amy, will you show us how you trim chicken?" And she did.
Wow.
So I was actually surprised. I didn't expect her to do it. And yeah. So, but the Amy and crew, Team Ecoma, they have a huge heart anyway, and everyone out there does. Just some people guard some of the stuff close to their chest. I will tell you that, like, and surprising enough, this is where I learned this. I put my recipes out at these classes. I put them right out in front of you. My timeline, my recipes, the whole 9 yards. And the reason I do that is because it was proven to me that you could do that over and over at a class, and no one would catch on. No one would do it. No one would do it the way you do it. Dan Hickson's class is exactly what he does at a comp. And people don't do it. It's like they change it. It's the same with me. I show them everything, and they change it. And it's like, because you did too. I did. Everything that was shown to me, I had to doctor. I had to play with.
Oh, yeah. You got to put your twist on it.
Okay, I'm going back to this.
Yep.
But yeah, I've seen it so many times. It's just, you lead a horse to water. Is that the statement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which can't make a drink.
Exactly.
Look, Dan's on now, so let's shout this picture out right here. You can explain this picture since Dan just commented. We both want to know about this picture here.
So Dan talked me into doing a chili cook-off. So we went down to do a chili cook-off down in Virginia, and we're quite the jokesters, by the way. And so the hats, we had to bring the hats and what have you.
That's funny.
just a good time.
Dan said he's going to have to come on the show to explain rib blowouts. Since you want to use sauce to stick it to the bone.
I prefer not blowing him out, and I understand him saying that. So,
Dan, I will get you moonshine if you want to come on this show. That's what he commented. He said moonshine. I thought he was more tequila, but I guess he's changed his taste here a little bit.
I think that has to do with the hats.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
Maybe.
So let's go into this. You said your favorite competition that you've done is the DC.
Well, so I'll say that's one of my favorites. But yeah, I like DC because it's 2 days. It's something a little different. You normally have turkey or lamb or maybe both, or and they bust it up. So that is one of my very favorites. I have a few that you can almost bank I'm going to get to. They're all for different reasons.
What are some of your favorites?
The one in West Virginia that Jody Light runs, that was at the insane asylum.
Yes.
And it's moved. That's just a fun comp. I mean, Jody's a fun person. She puts on a good comp. She takes care of you. It's a long drive. I have an RV, so that's okay. That I can spend Saturday night at. I don't have to leave. They're parts of my favorite. I'm trying to remember the one. Man, I can't think of his name. Of course, I didn't do any of them this year. But he had his comp up north, up PA, and it's in the school bus parking lot. I can't.
Smoking a Grove.
Say again?
Oh, Andrew Darnell.
Andrew. Yes. Schaefer. Yeah. His comp. And that's another one that they just take care of you. I mean,
that was my first time, and it was phenomenal. I was surprised at everything they had, and the chili cook-off and all that. I mean, it was quite the experience.
Yeah, one of the neat parts about that is you pull up there and they have you staged in and they put you in there, and there's not a lot of headache about getting parked.
Mm-mm.
They have, and it's close. They got everybody close.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
In DC, it could take you 3 hours to get parked. I'm telling you right now.
Wow.
It can be a nightmare.
And you got to be out of there by like 1 o'clock in the morning, don't you?
What, DC?
Yeah.
Trust me, it doesn't take me long to get out of DC. So, I even went the wrong way. I got all the cops came out because I was going down the wrong road with the bus.
I'm not from here. Just keep driving.
I wasn't here though. That's the problem.
I've used that before a few times. I'm not from around here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Guys, they got bigger guns than I got. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So you, I was waiting for this for a little bit, but you got a pretty big mascot.
I got a what?
You got a big mascot, like physically big mascot. I don't know if it's a puppy.
My puppy. Yeah. So Jasmine is my second Dane Mastiff. She's still a puppy. She's 17 months, turned 18 months. She's probably 125 pounds roughly now. There she is. And now that's a king size bed she stretched across, just to give you an idea.
Holy cow.
When she stands at my hip, her hindquarters, which is pretty much the lowest part of her, is at 34 inches.
Wow.
So we expect that. They grow for 2 years. They grow height for 2 years. So I expect her to hit 40 inches.
Wow.
And then the next year they put on weight. So being she's already 120, she'll probably put on another 100 pounds the third year.
Wow.
So and she is the second Dane Mastiff. The first one we called Squirt. she was an old girl when she passed, but she's another loving one like this one. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, they don't act loving like when you walk through my gate.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of want you to think they want to eat them, but they'll lick you to death just once they know you. So she's actually afraid of everybody. So she is. She's that big and afraid. So, but she is a mascot, and she will go back to comps with me when she calms down out of this puppiness. Now, I just can't let my wife walk her. I don't know if you all know that story or not, but
I think I've heard. I think I saw that on Facebook, or I was at the comp or something.
Yeah, we were in the last comp of the year, BBQ.
I heard about this. I wasn't there.
Yeah, she took this puppy out. This puppy was 6 months old, and she took the puppy out for a walk Saturday morning. I didn't want to take the puppy to the contest, comp. And since my daughter was coming, my wife said, "Yeah, we'll take the puppy. You know, it'll be all right. We'll have it." So she took it out. She's walking on the lead, and she had a long lead on it instead of a short lead, which these dogs, you have to keep a short lead on them. They can take you wherever they want to go. And the dog got spooked by a bike, and she was able to wrap the lead around a pole. And that was good. She stopped the dog, and the dog calmed down, and so she got it out, and she's walking back. And Mike Rollins runs my fire for me. He's my right hand out there at BBQ Comps, and he looked up, and Janie's like hanging on to the dog, and the dog's trying to take off because this kid is like too close to it on a bicycle, and the dog's trying to take off, and Mike says, "Do you need help?" She says, "No, I got it." And she went to wrap another pole, and that dog took off, but the leash was behind her. So it took her up in the air, and she landed on her head and shoulder. So she fractured her shoulder, and she had this huge knot on her head. So 3 weeks ago, fast forward, she stands up. The dog has to be the first one to the door. It's the rule. Don't get in its way. She stood up and went towards the door. She wasn't going to the door, but it didn't matter. And the dog went to run around her, stepped on her, the inside of her croc, the back of the croc, stepped on it, and down she went. And again, she landed on her face. So now she's another big black eye and a big bump. So the poor thing gets beat up, and it's bad. We go out in the public, and people think I beat my wife.
It's really just a dog.
It's been a young year in quarantine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Never know what happens in quarantine,
Yeah.
Stays in quarantine.
So with your classes, are you? I mean, I know this year's been a watch for almost everything. Are you going to pursue doing the classes and things like that?
So I think that if COVID if we can get COVID under control, I think that next year there will be a class, if not two. I really don't expect more than 4 or 5 comps next year. I don't think I want to get back into 16 comps or 14 comps or whatever it is. It's just, I don't know, it's too much. Besides that, I want to save my time anytime I may need for the disaster season. Yeah. For OBR. It really means a lot. It just does. So
definitely. So the classes, are they held at your house or certain area?
I keep them small. I keep 20, 25 people. We have a nice tent to sit under. Thank goodness for MABA. They pay for my tent every year.
Nice.
Yes. And we do ask everyone to join MABA if you're not a member already, because they pay for my tent. Yeah. So that's, I mean, it was at $35 a year, So, but they are, I mean, I'm right on the water on Chesapeake Bay.
Nice.
I'm sure looking through the pictures, you've seen some sunsets and what have you out there.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So they get to watch that. That way, if I'm boring, they got something to look at. So I always make sure my back's to the water so they can see the water. And yeah, there you go. That was afterwards. But everybody.
I'll come for that.
Yeah, there you go. Right next door to my house, my friend. Right next door.
Oh my goodness.
That's
I'm
beautiful.
right next to Kentmore Restaurant.
Okay.
It's owned by Dave and Tammy Harper, and they're great people. And man, they can put on the food. That's all there is to it. You can get anything you want there, and it's outrageously good.
Awesome.
So, you got something here I'm looking at. You recently got this. You got a solo stove.
Oh man, I have more than a solo stove, sir.
Okay. What all you got? What is a solo stove?
Which one are you looking at?
Hold on. Let me see here. Dave's gonna probably beat me to it. There we go. Boom.
Oh no, that's not a Solo Stove.
It says Solo Stove.
Yeah, it's made by Solo Stove. It's called a Solo Grill. That is brand new, just came out.
Okay.
My loving wife with this black eye is had ordered that for me because Solo Stove said they were going to bring it out. That didn't come out. That I had to bring those out. But so Solo Stove said they were going to make this grill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have their big fire pit in my lower yard, and I have a another Solo Stove in the RV for when we're out camping or at BBQ Comps. By the way, you got to watch Mike. He'll burn all of your wood in the fire pit instead of in the Jambo. So, no, not really, but he did burn up all of Eric Forrester's wood.
That's fine. That's fine. Tyler burns that, so we don't need to. We can burn up Eric's wood. That's fine.
That little guy, I've only cooked on it twice so far. It is pretty amazing. I think that it is actually a state candidate for SCA.
Oh wow!
I believe it. I mean, looking at the pictures here of it.
Yeah, it really is. It gets plenty hot enough. You can get as hot as you want. Anyone who has a Solo Stove of the pits, they'll know exactly how hot they can get. This was with a very limited amount of charcoal in it because I didn't want a fire like I have down below. So see, there's not a lot of charcoal there. So, but yeah, that's my newest toy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I started moving things because I couldn't have anything else because I had too many. So,
daggone, that's really cool. Let's slide into that. Have you done many SDAs, or do you plan on doing SDAs? I know you don't plan on doing many KCBS. Would you look into doing SDAs? I mean, one day Saturday competitions?
I've done 2 or 3 SDAs. I don't know that they're not the same to me. Just like the chili wasn't the same to me. It's a one day, get in there, do what you got to do, and get out.
Right.
I really like the social aspect of the cooking. I mean, I love to cook, but I like the barbecue comps. You know, I like talking to everybody. I like coming around in the middle of the night and leaving burritos on top of other people's smokers. You know, and, so things like that. I mean, it's so when it's just the steak cook-off, there's some stuff going on there where you can talk to people, but it's very short, sweet, and, you know.
Well, you can do like the ancillaries and stuff like that, and I'll be more than happy for you to leave a burrito in my PK.
For real. I'll take a burrito. Shit. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, most people like them. So I do a few breakfast burritos when we do comps, and they're Saturday morning breakfast because I don't want to stop and cook breakfast. So they're pre-made, rolled, and we just put them in the Jambo and crisp them up.
Nice. That's awesome.
We always make extra, and I think Dan's eaten plenty of those for me. You know, I don't have to get rid of them. So I always drop one off on Dan and Chris Hall. Those guys have I think I'd feed them forever because so much knowledge came from those two.
That's awesome.
You know?
Absolutely. Here's a pretty cool picture of your class.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, on the water. I tell you what, Dave. When you put it out there, I can almost guarantee you that I will be there. And I know my fiance won't mind either because as long as the crabs are there too.
There you go. Well, we let spouses come.
I mean, she can pay her way. I don't really care, but
you know what the pay is, right? We already talked about that.
Yep. Donate to charity. I have a feeling I'll probably go to OBR.
No, I won't designate that. I would like to just lock it into OBR, but you know, I won't get away from the roots of children's charities. You know, we've touched on a lot of charities through this, and some of them is like the policeman's fund. You know, when a policeman gets hurt in the line of duty or dies in the line of duty, somebody's got to take care of his kids and his family. So those funds help, and I'm a softie for kids anyway. So
yeah,
and that's part of the OBR thing too. You know, it's feeding the kids more than anything else. But to me, I mean, you got to feed everybody, and that's good.
Indeed.
So, but if there's a kid in need, you can bet I'm going to be in there. So
absolutely,
definitely.
So what's your go-to seasoning What do you like to use? It can be at home. It can be competition. We try to keep this more along the lines of competition. But what's your favorite seasoning you go to?
So, if it's a competition world, the base on every one of my meats, believe it or not, and I'm not kidding, is 3 eyes. 3 eyes. I use 3 eyes for the pork, the ribs, the chicken, and the brisket uses 3 eyes amongst other things.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I use is a base of 3 eyes. It's a nice fine rub. It's got a good neutral taste to it. It's not going to blow your head off. It's not going to be too sweet, and it's going to set your meat up to win actually.
Yep.
So I fell in love with 3 eyes. The only thing I found, other thing I found cooking outside of comps, I've never used it at a comp, is Traeger.
Okay.
Has come out with a believe it or not, or poultry and rib rub, or poultry and pork rub. Now they put the two of those together on one bottle. I don't know, but they did. It is good. It is good on ribs. I don't think much of it on chicken. It is a sweet rub, so I would not use it as a comp.
Okay.
My rubs are, when I mix. First off, the only thing I use on ribs is 3 eyes at a comp. That's all that goes on it. And but this is a good rub. I've done it at home, just that rub from Traeger, and I do have a Traeger pellet grill here, or smoker here. Actually,
30 grills at one point in time. I'm pretty sure there's more than one Traeger in there.
there's only one Traeger. I try to keep one of each,
Okay.
And like I definitely want a box smoker. I definitely want a WSM. These things I'm keeping. The backyard Jambo is down below at the class. The ugly drum is down there. So I mean, because when someone says, "I'm going to ask you when you sign up for the class, what do you cook on?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I want that burning there. If I get 12 people and they have 12 different smokers, which I doubt, but I mean, I'm going by types of smokers. I'm not going to go try to find everything that's a stick burner, right? I'm going to have one stick burner.
Right.
So, because I want those burning there when you're there. I want you to be able to ask questions about the smoker you're using, or that type of smoker.
Do you have a 270 there or no?
I do not have a 270. I cooked a 270. I did a test cook between a 270 and a backwoods, and they cook about the same.
I could agree to that. I can see that, absolutely.
Yeah, and so we did. We did it. Mike and I did one day. We did it one day, and then the next day we had Alan Sellers and a couple other judges come out, and we did it again between the two, and they couldn't tell me which was which.
Very cool.
If those master judges couldn't pick it apart, then that's another box. Is the way I look at it. It's a box cooker.
Yep.
And so that's what I did. Now with my smokers, I'm playing into other things, and that's actually someone else was on your show, BBQ's fault, because I had to go make cheesecakes. I got to make chocolate chip cookies.
Shoot, I'll tell you what, some of the stuff she turns out is, you see that chocolate covered bacon dish she had today?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Man, I'd probably lose weight just unfollowing her on social media. It'd probably be a pretty good deal. We got to go one more puppy picture here.
There you go. So that's West Virginia. That's Mike watching my fire real good.
It's about like Tyler watching mine.
Yeah, well, he doesn't normally do that, but hey. So and that is the one you saw on the bed when I first got her. That's the day we got her. So she's grown a little bit.
That is a cute
just a little
puppy.
Yeah.
So daggone cute. Real quick, we talked about these before we went live, and let me see if I can find it again. You guys got some really cool hats.
The pig hats.
The pig hats.
So that all started because I wanted a cow hat. And, when we were younger, when I was younger, they used to have this little box that you turn and it would move,
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted, that's the master of the hats there you had a picture of. I wanted a cow hat that had that in the nose of it, so when I moved my head, it would move, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a box of those now for her to do that hat. She's only done one, and Michelle has it. I'm trying to think of the name. Hog It Up.
That's what
Hog
I
It
need
Up.
there.
Yeah, that's the Redskin Pigs attacking the Eagles.
Yes.
I staged that one.
They're awesome looking little pigs.
This year would be the other way around, I'm afraid. In the last couple of years. So, but you know, talking about the Washington, it's this year's, they deserve this year. You know, you have a half a name for a half a team, right? So they only play half the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
Quit the name.
I don't know sports, so you guys might as well just start talking Chinese. Chat in Chinese. Because I don't know anything about anything outside of barbecue.
oh, come on.
That's pretty bad, Jake. All that.
Okay, I like okay, racing and a little bit of baseball, but other than that, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
So, well, daggone. So, what are your plans for barbecue? What are your plans in the future here? I know this has kind of been a little bit of a timeout year. We talked about that for you. What are your plans to?
I'm not cooking this year at all. If I was going to cook anything, I would have went down to Currituck, North Carolina, and cooked it. And I have a connection there. That's one that'll stay on my list, is Currituck. And the reason that'll stay on my list is because I have a very, very good friend that lives down there. He was my boss for probably 16 years. And we developed a friendship, not only being a boss, but and I go down there and cook and always take an extra brisket. I cook an extra brisket. I don't go down there gunning to win. Of course, you go into all of them to win, but I got to make room in the Jambo to cook a second 22, 24-pound brisket. I only cook big brisket, so that takes up a lot of room. So that one will happen. So after that, I mean, again, it kind of depends on what happens. I'd like to think that, you know, we have COVID under control and we can come out and in March we can look at some comps and see what we want to do. And I know that Mike is loving his being with his kids, and you know they're on the ice. They play a lot of hockey, and
Nice.
his oldest boy is really, really good, and he's got other ones coming up right behind him.
I love hockey.
Yeah, so they're into it big, and I didn't know anything about it. I went to see a game, and they had to explain to me what was going on. I knew nothing about ice hockey at all, and, except you couldn't really watch the puck because it was going too fast.
Yeah.
So it's like, where'd it go? So I think that, you know, if things straighten out, you'll probably see us at DC. We'll pick and choose, like I said, 4 or 5. Maybe 6. I don't want to say any more than that. I don't think that'll happen. And not because of MABA's cutoff. I could care less about that. I just found something better to do with my time, and so that's what I want to do. And so of course that's not a year-round thing either, right? So
Yeah.
But if you know OBR has training classes down in you know wherever they have it, whether they do Arkansas or Atlanta or where have you, then I want to be at those classes, you know. So you learn a lot with them, and I just enjoy doing that. So next year is going to be a limited amount, and I've already talked to Mike. He agrees. He's having a lot of fun with the kids, watching them grow up, and they're growing fast, as you can imagine. So my kids are grown. I'm actually got a 14-year-old here that trying to make me turn gray in a hurry. That's my granddaughter. So she's giving me a run for my money right now. And so, you know, I think it's important to spend time with them as much as you can. But I'm not giving up the competition if that's
Right.
the question. That's not going to happen.
That's good.
That's kind of why we're changing the RV around, getting the stuff out. I bought a new little car that goes in the back of the RV.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's a Polaris Gym.
Wow. I've never
It was pretty cool looking until I came home and my wife put eyelashes on it.
It was a cool car.
So I'm gonna get a big set of red lips to go across the front of it.
That's a weird looking little car. I mean, it's cool.
No, you see it? Yeah.
Yeah, here. And this fits in the back of your. Is that it?
That's it.
Holy cow.
Yep. That's a Jim. That's the exact one I have, except I have doors on mine so that I don't fall out.
That thing is crazy looking.
When you're older, you don't have no balance.
Are you gonna have the dog pull it, or is it gonna
I want the dog to sit in the seat with me.
Oh, I hope you
Is it
bring that
gas?
dog.
I have a picture of the other one that was full grown. She's wearing a white hat, like an English hat, and she's sitting in the front seat of my Corvette. So.
Oh man. Well, daggone. Well, we're coming up here. Dave, you got Travis, any other things here?
I'll end off with one question. I mean, you doing your classes and things like that, and you said you stem into, helping people in the backyard and things like that. I mean, we see a lot, with people trying to come up and stuff like that. Any recommendations for, the young kids coming up or wanting to step out of backyard to go into, the Masters Series? I mean, anything you can tell them?
So, the first thing I would tell them is that they need to relax and have fun. I mean, that really, some of these guys out there get so wound up and they get so upset that you have to relax. You have to have fun to get it started and to get it going right. If you're out there wrapped around the axle, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
Don't try to go off the base, way off base with the taste. My first comp, we thought we had chicken. Being an Italian family, we had chicken that's down pat, right? We did our Italian recipe with all the herbs underneath the skin. We came in next to last. I might be sugarcoating that. I'm not sure. So then we decided we better figure out what's going on there, and we went back what we learned with John Atkins and did much better. So. But yeah, I mean, and that's the kind of thing when I do my class, I teach some basic stuff like you use 2 rubs, you use a fine rub, and then you use a coarse rub. You always want to let your rub sit to sweat the meat, to sweat into the meat a little bit, and just some little. They're just little pointers, It's learn to control the fire. I sat with my Jambo when I first got to Jambo. I sat and played with that to try to keep it at 300 degrees at all times, or actually I was trying to keep it at 250 and it wouldn't stay at 250. It kept climbing to 300. And then someone who's taught me a lot, like I said, Dan said, then cook it at 300. That's where it wants to be. And it was exactly right. That pit will go to 300. It'll sit there all day long. When we run our Jambo, if you run it the way we run it, you put wood in it about once every 45 minutes, and then you put 2 sticks in. So I run mine different than say Tuffy. Tuffy does a square stack of very small pieces of wood, and he feeds his the whole time. He has but he doesn't. I mean, I fluctuate some. He doesn't. I mean, I bet he doesn't move more than 5 degrees either way.
Wow.
So he's just an extraordinary guy. He's just
yeah.
Most
I've talked to him. I've learned a lot from him, and just like I said, everybody I talk to, tells you what's what. I mean, Mike Richter, when we first started this, Mike Richter was very prevalent, very good up in this area, and he gave me pointers, and with the Jambo and all that, and all these people are they're all just barbecue brothers, and people think they won't talk to you, and they will. If you go in there demanding things, nothing's going to happen, right? I mean, but
right.
You sit around and talk, and it's really, another thing. I know that I saw Ron Davis on here, and I'm calling him, trying to help him here and there. I'm sure he wants to hang up on me on some days, but he'll send me a picture, and always, you always find the good things to say, and there are some always, and then I tell him when he needs to change, and he's starting to step up, and he's starting to come into his own, and I'm really tickled with that. So.
We're all here to learn.
Absolutely.
That's it. Exactly right. I'm still learning. I mean, I just came off a week of learning down in Lake Charles.
Yeah.
Learning.
Here's a good question. What's been your toughest cook in terms of competition? Any obstacles to get through? Any lessons learned from it?
There's been a lot of things that I had trouble with, and that they gave me a hard time. And I don't remember what cook it was, but. I couldn't. My backwoods kept jumping up in temperature and coming back down and jumping up in temperature. I couldn't do anything to stop it. and I even had other people come over and help me, and they couldn't do anything about it. That I sold that smoker when I got home, by the way, but that one was a rough comp. I'm sure there's other ones that were worse. I know that the first one in Louisa, Virginia, which we did terrible at, we had an ugly drum there.
Mm-hmm.
And we loaded this drum up, and it was the middle of the night, and like the bottom fell out of the atmosphere, there's the pressure changed,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole bottom of this drum turned red.
Oh,
I mean, it was red, and we were trying to get the meat out, which was so hot, we didn't necessarily have all the right stuff. It was just my brother and I, that's the way this started, and so we got the meat out, and we ended up turning the drum upside down and dumping the fire in the fire circle and restarting a fire.
mm-hmm.
The way we controlled that, but it wasn't a good cook at all.
Wow.
So, but I had to say our worst cook was probably the very first cook, and that was just from lack of knowledge. And after that, we started picking up pointers fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm not ashamed to ask questions. That's for sure.
Daggone right, and you can't be. You can't be.
Right, exactly right.
Well, Dave, thank you so daggone much for being on here. Whenever you do get out to doing a class, let us know. I'm sure Dave and I would definitely be interested in coming down, but we'll also promote and share the heck out of it for you. Get everyone out there to raise some money for local charities and learn something, hang out, eat some crabs, and that'd be a really, really daggone cool day. But yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming on here, man. And yeah, we'll put you in the waiting room here for a little bit, and we're going to sign off.
All right. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
You. Appreciate it, Dave.
Nope, I hit him off too quick. My bad. Sorry, Dave. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been another pretty good week.
Absolutely. Like we said, we greatly appreciate you guys, the love and support that we get from you. It's phenomenal. We look forward to every Tuesday to come on here and chat with y'all.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, keep in mind, Saturday, we get the Beast Brews and Barbecue. We're going to be going live there at that, having a good time with our ladies from Barbecue Beast. Next week, we are having Tiffany from This Girl Knows Meat. I don't know if she's still considered Mid-Atlantic or she's Colorado or what she is. We're going to find out this next week. Yeah, we're going to keep it here in the Mid-Atlantic for a couple weeks. So, all right. Well, that being said, Dave texted me and said he's hungry, so we're going to wrap this whole thing up here. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you all next week, guys. Thank you.